Well, you won't get a lemon from Toyota of Orange.
Wrestling buddies want to be your buddy.
Drug-free's the way to be.
What do you think you're doing?
Well, Miss Musso, we were just doing a promo.
Welcome to Home Wrestling League.
All right, let's get into it. I am Penny Dreadful, joined by Drew No Gibbons Needed Radley and Crystal the Casual at the Unicorn Soundboard, and this is Home Wrestling League. It's a dystopian hellscape, but at least wrestling can still surprise us sometimes. Nepo babies and all.
Mm-hmm. It was a real DEI Nepo baby situation last night.
Not DEI.
Fucking.
Oh, God. You know what? Did I get what I want out of this year's Rumble? I would say that I did on both counts. And I called you know what? If you paid any attention to anything going on, they telegraphed Charlotte, like when they said she's coming back. That's a layup. Come on. Surprise-wise, I got what I wanted. What I was thinking going in is who would be, because we got Rhea Tiffy right now. That's not likely to change, at this point. And who would be put in front of either one? Io Rhea has been hinted at for a little while, and that would be great. But would they do, Io in a Mania match 2 years in a row? I don't know. It kind of depends. I'm still waiting for Bianca Rhea. I don't know if we'll get that this year because of these stories moving around, but I am waiting on that. That would be a really high stakes match for both of them. They're very evenly matched competitors. Rhea has just recently regained her title, wouldn't want to drop it. Bianca would be putting her undefeated streak on the line. Jade in the wings, lots to work with there. Had Asuka returned, you can put in front of either one and get a good match. Although I will say that Asuka-Bianca match, it's kind of boring. It didn't do much for anybody. Just one of those you had to kind of do. And I wouldn't want that for Asuka, so that'd be a place to go. Charlotte Tiffy is a layup. And that's something that I've been thinking about since Tiffy was still in NXT. Like, who's the blondest, most flippy, big-titted, talented wrestler? OG versus new kid. That's easy. In terms of, like, the biggest got no business winning a Rumble is Brock Lesnar, Ronda Rousey, Charlotte. Of those three, I'm going to take Charlotte every time. Because at least I like to watch her wrestle.
Yeah, like, Charlotte will... Like, I like watching Brock wrestle, and Ronda is...
You like watching the same 4 spots over and over?
But he makes those 4 spots work. Like, suplex, F5, selling, like...
And repeat.
Yeah. No, I mean, we're after that Vince McMahon thing, we're probably not going to see Brock for a good little bit.
And that's all right.
Especially now.
Yeah. And that's all right, because... They named him, right?
Yeah, they're putting him in an addendum to the lawsuit.
Yeah. That's okay with me. There's something to be said for me, and I noticed this about them stacking their roster with like international stars across different promotions. Like if you said a year ago, look, 2 years ago even, that we have a Rumble with Julia, who is in Japan. No one in the E knew about her. Stephanie Vaquer, who no one knew about because she was in Mexico. Jordan Grace, who was we would have told you were out of your mind. So I will give them credit where it's due for building out their roster. And it's very interesting. And I think a good thing, me personally, that there were much more women from NXT than the men. There were no men from NXT. I wonder why. And I think I know why. Why so many wrestling fans are so stupid? And I think it's because they treated us like we were stupid for a long time. And they're just kind of recently saying, hey, maybe some of you have brains. But I spent a lot of the morning on Threads being like, what do you can you please just say something that makes sense? Like, just say you don't like Charlotte Flair. That's okay. If you don't like to watch her wrestle, you can say that. But it also reminds me of when she came back from that kayfabe injury and took the belt off Ronda. I wasn't mad at it because I didn't want to see Ronda at WrestleMania. Did anybody else? Because I thought the consensus was we didn't like her and we didn't want to see any more of her. Like, you have to build to WrestleMania. I was not mad at that. But like, and the other thing that's interesting are people are saying like a lot of she's coming back in, you know, and so many people have worked so hard, you know, and I'm like, y'all acting like she sat on her ass eating bonbons for years. She blew out her whole knee. It takes a lot of work to come back from that. She didn't do nothing.
Yeah, like it normally that injury in wrestling takes about 8 months.
Right?
But
yeah.
they were like, well, I mean, we could just have her come back at the Rumble. It
Yeah.
gives her more time, and like she's, you know, 40 and an all-time great wrestler, so all the time you give her to work, like she'll make it work. Like it's a thing. Like she's fine. Like there's a she's one of the best female wrestlers ever.
Yeah.
So it is what it
What's
is.
your argument though? Why are you tired of?
Why do I get
You were
tired
like,
of that?
yeah, because you were like, she doesn't like deserve it, and I'm like, sure, yes, but like, please come at it with like facts. That's what people's problem. They don't use facts and they just stick with emotions. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean I'm fine with it. Like I've been Charlotte Hive since 2014. Like I love that monster. But like when you break it down, there was really no one that could have won the Rumble because they don't really have great stories besides Rhea.
Mm-hmm. They're not going to give her a story besides being Charlotte Flair.
Yeah. To be honest, if that were me, I would love to work for WWE for just little bits of things. I would have made a storyline of Tiffany asking Rhea to watch the Royal Rumble, but it's played like a rom-com. Like, you know how they have the time where they're actually watching the Royal Rumble? Like,
yeah,
Charlotte, I got some ask you. Would you want to watch the Royal Rumble with me? And Rhea's just like, oh no.
They should have. They usually do that. I was disappointed that they didn't this time.
And so like that's a mini storyline, and you could frame it of like, are they going to get together? Are they not? Is Barbenheimer going to be together and watch the Royal Rumble?
Yeah.
You never know.
Exactly. It's just like Charlotte Flair is no question a Nepo baby, and she's such a strong Nepo baby that at that press conference she said she was self-made, which was so funny to me. Like, all right, you
some
do the
doctors
work.
made that too.
Oh yes, you do the work to take the step, right? But the step was made of bricks that were already there. Other people have to make the step. The step was already there for you. Like Nepo babies are strong Nepo babies when they're like, I did it by myself. Like, no, you did the work to get there, but like you were given that, and that's okay. She's definitely women's Randy Orton. And the real question, I think, is whether or not she lived up to being given those opportunities. Like, does she deserve to stay where she is, having been put there? What do you think?
I mean, yeah, of course. Like I said, I've watched NXT like 2014. Like
old school black and gold. You watched it all
black
happen.
and gold shit. Like I watched it. I watched those girls when they came up on the first night. I've watched them for years. So like I said, I'm fine with the picks. I like Charlotte Flair. Like I've said, because of her daddy issues, if she wasn't one of the best wrestlers ever, she would be one of the greatest strippers we've ever seen. Like
she'd probably be a pro volleyball player.
Probably, or just like I said, the daddy issues alone would have, like Drake would have written songs about her. Like it would have been like, it's like, oh shit, are you gonna go over to the strip club? Yeah, like Ashley Flair. Oof, man, she's one of one.
Oh God, Randy. in his Broken Skull session, and I have to watch Charlotte's back and to remember what she said to Stone Cold about it. But he talked about being given every opportunity just because he was Cowboy Bob's son. And he had over the years worked hard to be worthy of being given it. So the question is not whether or not she has it in the ring, like whether or not she's put in the work to be worthy of those opportunities. Because I mean, she's gifted athletically, like as she is. She just has something. And I don't think that's a given.
Yeah.
But like if it were you and you had this natural athleticism, right? And the opportunity because of your daddy, if you were given the opportunity to be put over all the time, like would you turn it down?
Of course not. Like,
Yeah, I mean, so some people might answer that on like differently and honestly, but like if we're keeping it a buck, if you were given the opportunity, would you do something different? I don't know. And I feel like that's something people maybe should look at. Like if it were you, would you do something different? I don't know. And people are always saying like she doesn't put anybody over. Something I think she doesn't do well is sell. She's just better on offense than defense. In the same way that Osprey is, a lot of people say Osprey can't sell. Her strength is in her offense. And that's okay, I guess. It's something that probably won't always be that great at. Same with like her mic skills. There's probably only so far she can go there. But people are like, she can't put anybody over. She just put Rhea over. Rhea's at the top. She put her over in a 5-star match, no question. All the other people, because I looked at her reigns over the years and see who she beat to get there. Becky, Sasha, Bailey, and I think Alexa. We'll get to in a second. So the 3 I just mentioned are at the top of their game. People are still on Becky Lynch's ass. Petition to leave her alone. She hadn't said nothing about wrestling for months. Please leave her alone. Let her take her time off. God damn. Sasha's over here with fucking Mercedes. Sorry. She's over here with every other belt in the goddamn world. And Bailey's over here just having been, a Royal Rumble winner, just had the belt. And they almost had me with saying she might go back to back. But like all of them are at the top of their game. So how can you say that she hasn't put people over? I think she can't sell well, but that's like saying that everyone she beat to have a title like is a nobody. You know what I mean? Which I think is not fair. I think the real test of this era is whether or not she takes it off Tiffy.
yeah, like
I think it probably will, to be honest. But I think that's the real question.
yeah,
Like, will they actually use her to continue putting people over, which I think she's at the point in her career where she should. I think that's the real test.
yeah. So with Tiffany, I think it's going to be a good match. I think she'll get a good match out of Charlotte's going to get a good match out of her. I think I think that when you said it comes to Charlotte Flair, she doesn't put anyone over. That's not true. You just said like she put Becky and she put Sasha over. All the four horsewomen pretty much put each other over. Like
repeatedly. They just take turns with that. Yeah.
Yeah. They've all jobbed to Alexa Bliss for some strange reason. But I think with this, she's going to get something out of Tiffany that hasn't been there yet. So I'm excited for the match. I'll watch it. And yeah, it'll be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
She's a great, like I said, I'm Charlotte Hive, so she's just a phenomenal wrestler.
Yeah,
she's just more athletically superior than everybody else. And like I said, if wrestling or volleyball wasn't her calling,
King
Drake
Diamond,
would be
right?
Oh my god,
That's the name of the place, right?
King of Diamonds.
Thank you.
Yeah, you were thinking Pink Diamond like Steven Universe.
come live in the palace. I got to do a rewatch of that.
I mean, if we're doing wrestling comparisons, I think who would be Pink Diamond? Because Last Legend reminds me of Garnet.
Oh, I was gonna say, oh my God, what is the name of the one that Uzor Duba voiced? Biz, someone with a B.
Bismuth.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, put that one. Oh, yeah. Oh God, we got to come back to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to Steven Universe.
The original. All right. But I hoped and dreamt about Alexa, and we haven't heard nothing about it. So I was like, you know what? If she comes back, great. If she doesn't, awesome. I was so happy to see her. That was my pop of the evening. We'll get to the other pop of the evening that I had, but I was so happy to see her because I love Alexa Bliss. I really do. Like 5 Feet of Fury, and you know what really pisses me off and what I'm happy about actually. But what pisses me off is that when I was young, I was like, I can't be a wrestler. I'm too small and I'm a woman. And all these small bitches are, doing their thing now. It's great, although it's annoying. But like I really love her stature and her ability to move. And I really, really enjoy Alexa. And I was so happy to see her back. I wasn't happy to see her, get like eliminated the way she did. And you did say she wouldn't have anything for her to do. And that's like, where would they fit her in right now?
It would have to be the Wyatt stuff. She would be the
Supreme. So they could actually do something with it again.
Yeah. Like we were covering that week to week and it was exciting and then it wasn't.
Seriously.
And then they actually had to wrestle those matches and you're like, oh yeah, that's right.
Oh God. Petition also to please leave AJ Lee alone.
Yeah.
But she has said repeatedly she doesn't want to do it. She's retired. Why are you on that woman's dick? Please stop. Leave her alone.
I thoroughly believe because she didn't get pregnant directly after that everybody's just like, oh, she's just gonna come back to wrestling. She doesn't want to do that shit. Like her and her surly husband just, have that really ugly dog. And they love that really ugly dog.
The only reason why they're on it is because he's back. Like you weren't asking for her much before, so the only reason why you aren't now is because he's there, and that's weird. It's weird.
Yeah, like white guys love Asian women, so like to a weird extent.
I thought she was Hispanic.
She might be.
Yeah.
I just always thought she was Asian. She actually, you know what? She does look Hispanic. Never mind.
Who are we talking about?
AJ Lee.
Wrestle name AJ Lee.
I think her name is Mendez.
Yeah,
no, Mendez. I think she's Hispanic. It would be. She's one of the ones that I missed their entire run, and I don't know her work well. So if she did come back, that would be great, and be someone for Nikki to play with if Nikki goes full time. I don't know if she will, but still, like, y'all, temper your expectations. Like,
she's a product of a bygone era. Like that's all it is. Like, she was the anti-diva when they had the Divas Championships. It
exactly.
Was like it was her, Paige, and that's about it. Like,
I saw someone say they hoped Paige would come back. I was like, are you out of your fucking mind? She works somewhere else.
She works somewhere else, and she just dumped her racist boyfriend. So now she's not racist because she dumped her racist boyfriend.
Right.
What are you saying, Crystal?
Penny is correct. She is Latina. She is specifically Puerto Rican.
Wepa!
She is from New Jersey.
Uh-huh. There you go.
Yeah. Her parents are both Puerto Rican. Her mom was Acevedo and her dad is Mendez.
See, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know Puerto Rico when I see one.
I was going to say, you would know.
Exactly.
I only have half on the radar. And mine's calibrated towards Mexicans, so.
Right? Overall, great women's rumble. So happy to see, a lot of the NXT ladies come through. I love Lash Legend. I really enjoy seeing her. She's a lot of fun. I saw some people being like annoyed that Julia was in it because she has the NXT title, and I don't think that was. I think that was the first time that the NXT champion appeared in a Rumble. So but I wasn't surprised to see her there. I really did expect to see her there because she's great and she's a big name.
Yeah.
They've gotten smart, hip to bringing the people who are really making waves in whatever brand they're on, bringing them on. Of course, great.
Yeah, because Lash Legend was a really good basketball player.
Oh yeah? Oh, I can see that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she was a really good basketball player. She was drafted in the first round of the WNBA. She only played like 4 or 5 games, but after that, she just became a wrestler, and like she picked up Otis, and like she is, not only is she Trick Williams' girl, but like she is like awesome.
Hey, babe, or in real life?
In real life.
Oh, awesome. Black love.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's what, like, he has 8-pack abs, so like you can't be shocked that 2 people are like, let's just do this.
You're right. Like,
it's like I'm attractive, you're attractive.
Let's be attractive together.
What's the harm?
What's the harm?
But yeah, getting back to the Royal Rumble, I was shocked that Roxanne Perez was there, and she has the record. I didn't see it coming. Like anytime an NXT person shows up, I'm like, oh, cool. Like you don't expect it.
Oh, I did.
The fact that she was the longest person in there she set the record was cool.
Yeah.
Directly after her was Lyra Valkyria, aka Bird Girl.
Bird Girl.
She came out, and so she was starting to get going, and then her top fell.
Yeah.
And she caught it, and then you could see the ref. I'm blanking on the really beautiful tall ref.
Yes. Ref Bay.
Yeah. You could see her because they have the refs on the corners to say like, hey, you're out. You can see her run across the screen, and then they don't show the camera.
Her off to the corner. So
they put her off to the corner so they can fix her top. And then they fix her top, and you can see the fans like, yay! And then you see the ref is just like, yeah, I did it. So that was great.
Aja, AJA. I don't know if it's Aja or Aja.
It's Aja
Smith. Yeah. Ref Bay. Yeah. Yeah. That was good work on the fly.
Yeah. Hold on. Sorry, my light was looking weird. Let's see. Then as it gets going, it's okay. I forgot that Nia Jax was going to be in the Royal Rumble.
Right? Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Continually forgot.
I absolutely forgot that. Trish Stratus shows up.
Which I don't need more than one nostalgia pick. I never did.
I mean, like all those 40 to 50-year-old men are just like, oh yeah.
Something that I remember.
It's like I used to crank one out to Trish Stratus. but it's just like, yeah, no, like it's just like she ages so well. I mean, the fact that she was an anti-vaxxer before like COVID is kind of a really weird relief, but is whatever. And Alexa Bliss came out, Nikki Bella came out,
which I didn't need or see coming, but I mean, as someone who missed that, that last gasp, or rather not last gasp, but that Divas division, I'm not attached to her in the same way that like other people are, so I don't see it in the same way. But I'm happy to have her, be there. Like, great, awesome.
Yeah,
I expected Jade. So she was a surprise.
That was what I was about to say.
Mhm.
Jade, they have to finish up that storyline.
Mhm.
Yeah, just not having Jade is just such a weird thing. Like, what do you want to do with her?
Mhm. And when?
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
But when we were talking about the divas, the the huge influx of fans happened around the time NXT was popular
Mhm.
and Total Divas happened. So Nikki Bella will always kind of get that
Yeah.
thing because because like those women helped a lot of women get into professional wrestling.
Yeah, for sure.
But Nia Jax had the spot of the match,
Mhm.
obviously taking out like 6 people at once.
Yeah.
That was cool.
That's my favorite wig on her too.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a okay Rumble. I mean, Charlotte obviously just came in and just like when she showed up, I'm like, oh, awesome, Charlotte. Get to the fucking ring and wrestle. Jesus Christ. Like you were taking your sweet ass time.
No.
Like,
She said in the press conference, I don't know if you guys noticed, but I couldn't get my jacket up. And was like, we noticed, girl. We know you had to tear that shit off to get in there because it took fucking forever.
it's like, my God, like shit. By the time she was done, like they were counting off to the next person.
They were.
I'm like, it's like, we get it. You're gonna win, Charlotte. Just hurry this up.
Yes. Get to business.
Yeah. The fact that who were the last 3 again?
Roxanne, Charlotte, and
Nia?
let me see. Ooh, I think it was Nia. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Why didn't you see Roxanne coming? She just dropped to whomever she dropped to, and I see Julia. She just dropped to Julia. She's clearly on her way to the main roster. I expected to see her for sure. And very happy with her performance. Great.
Yeah, she's I mean, that's why she's in NXT for as long as she is, because like she's really good. She's essentially Jade Cargill's, like, to get her in ring shape. Like Roxanne Perez literally stayed in NXT solely because of that. Like they would wrestle all the time. Yeah, because she's that good. And that's why she was in NXT longer than most.
They call it the prodigy for a reason.
And yeah, just I really would have liked to see Becky, because it's just kind of weird because they shot all the stuff for her on Netflix for Raw. Like when you see the trailer promos, and she still hasn't premiered. But yeah, I really just I don't know. It's hard to connect with the women's Rumble sometimes, because I'm just like, okay, yeah, no, let's get through this, because like it's all about
the outcome.
Yeah. With the women's Rumble, the outcome more than the men's Rumble.
That's
like
true.
they telegraph it a lot more.
That's true.
Jordan Gray showed up cycling off of some of her PEDs, and she does the spot where she picked up Piper, which was cool.
Yeah.
But it was one of those things where I'm like, well, I mean, if you looked at her muscles, like it really shouldn't have. Yeah, that was cool. She signed, and then Bianca and Naomi hugged, because they did the same thing in the previous row.
They did, yeah. Oh, good to see you. We're friends. Yeah. She hugged, and Bianca pulled that hair off.
It was like, what the fuck? And I'm like, damn, Bianca,
right?
Just admit that you don't watch TNA. Like, just say that. Like, my God, who the fuck is this bitch?
Ooh. Heel turn loading, yes.
And Chelsea Green makes all of her minutes work. Like the fact that it was
Every time she's in that, every time she's on camera, you're gonna remember her.
it's just like she's just so memorable.
Mhm.
And then the scene when Lash Legend meets up with
Jada.
Jada,
Mhm.
well, that's another person, Jada Parker. She's getting like
Mhm.
they
She's
meet up
grown so
together,
much.
right?
I
They
don't
they
even
meet
watch
up.
that much NXT, but even I can see like her growth and development. It's been really, really fun to watch. She's great.
I love her character because she's just an Instagram baddie who's a dickhead.
Is
Like,
she still like mean? Is she still working the
yeah,
heel angle? Good.
that's the whole thing. It's just
Good.
like, yeah, I will take the thirstiest traps, but I fucking hate you. I think you're a piece of shit. So they meet up in the center of the ring, and then you see Naomi and Bianca meet up, and like, oh, this black woman brother, like sisterhood on
Black
the
History
first,
Month.
yeah, on the first day of Black History Month, and then Chelsea Chelsea Green was just like sisters, and then they just fucking stomped the shit out of her. It's just like fight back, and jumped her.
Inserting herself the way a white woman does. Classic.
Yeah, exactly. It was like, well, she was just so scared about the price of groceries.
Eggs, you guys. Oh shit. Overall, good Rumble, good spots, developing stories. Some people who may or may not come back full time, we'll see. But overall, I'm quite happy with the development there. I don't. Who do you think? Because I think we can call the lineup for Elimination Chamber. Got Io, Bianca, Naomi. You need 2 more. Who do you think it's going to be that wins it? I think it's Io. I think Io or Rhea.
It's Io or Bianca.
Well,
it would make sense if Jade was in there because the storyline of her most likely getting beat up by Naomi.
Going under a car.
They'll probably have Bailey because she's a good performer.
Yeah.
And that's something that I noticed. Well, when we get like in what happens in the Royal Rumble, and usually on War Games is the workers, like the really good workers, go in first. So Io was in there, Liv Morgan, she's the Beyonce Riot Squad, whatever. But they put in
Liv will probably be in there too. Yeah.
And Lyra, and like you put in good workers at the beginning of the Royal Rumble to like get that through.
Yeah.
And then like towards the end, that's when you could be like, Nia Jax is here.
Yes. Remember me?
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm not the best worker, but
She's really grown on me, I gotta say. Because I did like her in her first run, when she had the Raw Women's Championship and she was a face. I enjoyed her. I recognized that she wasn't great in the ring and needed some work, but she's come back and actually improved. And she is not always like super great on the mic, but her character work is phenomenal. She's fucking annoying and beautiful and physically dominant. Give it to me. I love it. She's growing on me a lot.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I just like her character because she thinks everything is fucking stupid. Like just the fact that like she can't just like, hey, Nia, how you doing? Ugh.
Right. Your mom sucks, kid.
It's like
it's very obvious, like a lot of cheap heat. She makes cheap heat work. Ay. Oh shit. Anything else you want to mention before we get into the next one?
No, we could go on to the next one.
Okay. This is a tag match that could have easily been on SmackDown. And I recognize they put it here because they had to fill out the card a bit. But it didn't do much. I mean, 2 out of 3 falls, I think, is a fun way kind of mix up what was going on between Motor City Machine Guns and DIY. I didn't expect them to get those belts back because heel DIY way too much fun right now, and those guys I think have been really deserving of a good title run for a long time. So it's good that they have it. I didn't expect changes, but heel profits, baby. Yes. Thank you.
Yes.
All right,
Yeah,
hold on. Talk. I just got a closer.
Yeah. Gotcha. Heel profits is great. One of the funniest things about that match is normally like 9 times out of 10, whenever it comes to those type of matches, if it was 10 years ago, everybody would be like, this is the most amazing match ever. But 10 years ago was 10 years ago. Now it's just like, well, let's go to the bathroom, or let's go, because it's a 4-match card. That there's going to be a lot of room for commercials for the next little bit.
Yeah.
Like, or you could be like, what's I Show Speed doing? Because I know he's back there and he's just talking to wrestlers and shit and just being like, I got WrestleMania, and just doing all that shit. So the match, like, it didn't really have any like oomph to it because it's because like it's on SmackDown and they don't really treat their tag team division like it means something. So like no one gives a fuck. Like it's sad to say, just no one. I don't care. Like, I'm sorry. I know it makes me a bad person. I don't give a fuck. I do not give a fuck about this match. Like,
would you have cared if it were Pretty Deadly?
Of course I would have cared if it was Pretty Deadly.
There you
because I
go.
love Pretty Deadly. It's just like, NXT Black and Gold was such a long time ago, and TNA Motor City Machine Guns was such a long time ago that, now I'm just like, okay. Like, I'm just like, cool. I don't really know what to do with this, but all
It's
right.
good that they're trying to develop their tag division. If they didn't have this back and forth between those two and Legado, or is it Legado? The Spanish ones, the Spanish tag team.
Yeah,
and thank you.
And LWO.
And the street, thank you. All the Spanish people. If they didn't have that going on, if they hadn't put them on this card, we would be complaining that they weren't trying with the tag division. So at least they're trying. At least they're trying. Now the end goal here is to get the belts back on the profits, please. Develop these guys. Heel turn for Montez, singles run. Please. Let's move this along. Where's the Judge Judy? Let's go. Please. But it was very funny that there was, talk of Dawkins walking around on crutches.
I just
Nice
like that they're
misdirect.
leaking. They're just leaking stories on purpose.
They
solely
are. They
solely
are.
to fuck with them. You're like,
They
aha,
are.
idiots.
And we'll get into the stories that they leaked that Crystal gave us here, because I want to talk about that too. But Universal match. There was no way that KO was going to win this one, because again, going into WrestleMania, you can't shake up the titles that much at this point because it gets weird. Ladder match is always fun, no question. It definitely made me laugh that both belts had hung above the ring since Saturday night's main event. Like, come on, you took them down everywhere. Like, why? You didn't have to do that. Whatever. There were moments where I legitimately worried about both of them, especially that last spot. Oof.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, that last spot was something else.
Right. Anytime someone takes their back on the side of a ladder, I'm like, oh no.
like somebody posted this, and it's so true that anytime Kevin Owens is in a ladder match, he always does like that same spot. And they posted that picture of Homer Simpson getting bent over, like having his back bent by a fire hydrant. And I'm like, yeah, that is Kevin Owens to a T. Like,
Very true.
yeah, because Roddy Codes walked in with the short jacket, short
Right? I
sleeve like
noticed that.
jacket,
I was like, okay,
uh,
mixing it up.
doing the oh, and like it started, like it just started up, and they were just like trying to steal the show, and it was one of those ones when you're watching, you're just like, you guys are doing a lot. Like, I hope you guys don't wrestle for like 2 weeks. And now since they stopped doing house shows and tickets are more expensive, like they're fine. Like they have enough time to heal up.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that when it came down to the when they were both so beat up that the people from the back came in, I'm like, don't do that. Like, it's like Kevin deserved this ass whooping. Like, and I know Cody, snapped, but I'm like, no, he very much deserved this ass whooping.
Oh, for sure.
And so, like, at the end, when Roddy Codes, wins the match and he's posing, and they have the shot where you can see Cody in the background celebrating, and Kevin is there with Sammy.
Sammy needs to mind some of his own goddamn business.
And it was just like, hey, he's my friend. But it's just one of those things where you can see Cody in the background. It's like, that's what you get for talking shit. I'm like,
Cody left them there, decided to turn around, come back, do this. Cody Lander loading.
Exactly. I'm like, you jumped me in a bus port in Atlanta, and you didn't think this was going to come back to you at no time. It's like, you made fun of me and my dad. You've made fun of my dad for a couple months now, and you didn't think this was going to come back to haunt you. And it's like, you know what? I'm going to put you in an uncomfortable position, make you look like Peter Griffin after he falls down the stairs, and then go win a championship. And I'm going to do the pose in front of you. Whoa! That's what you get for talking shit.
I can't let you get away with all those t-shirts, bruh.
Exactly. Exactly. Like, I don't give a fuck if you're a family man. Like, this ain't Street Fighter. You're not going to go home and be a family man. It's like, no, I'm going to leave you in a crumpled fucking mess, you piece of shit. Go back to Canada. Go hang out with Drake.
Oh my God. Did I ever tell you about the time that I guessed all the Canadian provinces?
No.
So there's an episode of Friends where it's a Thanksgiving episode where they're playing a game where basically they just see how many American states they can name in 5 minutes. So I did that, and I got, I missed like 2 or 3 of the dumbest ones. And then I was like, I wonder how many provinces I could get. And the ones I got, of course, is because of wrestling. Like Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. Like, oh, okay. Manitoba, Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Okay. Alberta, Montreal, Quebec. Okay, Quebec. And then there's Vancouver, British Columbia. Wrestling is education.
Yeah, exactly. Because all of them, yeah. I didn't not even think about that. I'm like, oh,
right?
Yeah, that does make sense.
Like, how many times have I been hearing Manitoba, Canada, Toronto, Ontario? Like, oh yeah, okay, these are the ones.
If you're Canadian, it's pronounced Toronto, like with the ch.
Seriously?
That's how they pronounce that shit. It's like when you hear Drake's like, I'm out here in Toronto.
Kind of like they say Regina, Saskatchewan.
Yeah.
That's weird. Oh, bless them. Bless Canadians.
Canadians are weird.
You want to get into the men's rumble?
Sure.
For me, this was the hardest men's rumble to call in a while because, like you said earlier, they telegraph the women's often. They have been telegraphing the men's for a few years now, especially with Cody. And so every time I thought I had a good guess, I'd be like, it's going to be this guy. I remember someone else with a strong case. Like Punk, Cena, Roman were all equally likely.
Mm-hmm.
And I always say to myself, at least, that you know that your booking is going well when, you know, a few different options is going to be a good story. Like for me personally, Bianca, Sasha, I was going to be happy with either one because at that point I was really getting into Sasha as a champ and everything. I was happy with Bianca. Like that's one of those instances where either one would have been good. Like none of them suck. Like, you know, you're doing a good job. And I think it's a mark of how poorly Gunther's run has been booked. Like at the time that before, an obvious choice to face him at Mania like didn't come to mind because all the Raw guys who are all gunning for a spot, they all have so much history with Cody and all that, you know, dramatic bullshit that they would probably want to face Cody and not Gunther.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got what we got.
Yeah.
And I'm not mad. I'm not mad at all. I'm not mad at all.
I mean, before we get to that,
Mhm.
we'd be remiss to start off with Penta was number 2.
Loved it.
Exactly. It's weird.
Both those feet hit the floor.
Well, actually, you go back and you do the Zapruder film with it, and you're like, oh no, he only got 1 foot, barely.
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 That was a spot that didn't quite go exactly how they wanted to, but it's like, oh, it's okay. We'll allow it. Let's go.
Exactly. They're luchadors. Don't worry. They'll get it right.
Yeah.
That's one of the funniest things about watching AAA and shit. It's just like, yeah, they make a bunch of mistakes, but don't worry about it. It's like, don't worry about it. They'll figure it out.
Yeah. Penta was
and
in there for 42 minutes.
yeah, he was the longest person in there next
All
to Roman.
right. Fantastic.
Yeah, it was cool. It's just cool to see a guy that you saw maskless at a Reseda CBS before PWG show, and then
How did you know it was him though?
You know,
By the tattoos, maybe? Tattoos.
yeah.
What does he look like? Pretty, right? They're always pretty.
I mean, like he's muscular, so he's automatically better looking than I'll ever be.
Does he have a chin dimple? Because the way his makeup looks, it kind of looks like he has a, you know.
I'll post the picture in the chat of how Penta
You can
looks.
take a picture of him.
No.
Okay.
I don't take pictures without
Saying, hey, please, can we take a picture together? Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, he's a good he's fantastic. Like that was cool. And then, you know, Braun Breaker comes in and it's just Braun Breaker. He
Another Nepo baby who's living up to it, for sure.
Yeah, and then I forgot who gets mad and hits Tosawa along the way, but Tosawa, you know.
Yeah, I looked away for a minute and I was like, oh, it's Akira, and then she looked away for a second.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened there.
It's so weird with Akira Tosawa. Like at one time, he was considered one of the best wrestlers in the world, and then he comes to WWE, and then he's kind of like a joke wrestler. It is what it is. He gets sent to the back, and then Triple H is just like, oh God,
there's no one else who might want a spot.
There's no one else here. And then you see Speed talking to a big-breasted woman in the back, and Speed is just like, "Come on, Speed," and he's like, "Oh, okay." And then Speed comes out here, and Speed is the biggest streamer on earth. I'm not one of those weird people who's just like, what is this bozo doing here? It's like, no, Speed has more money than I'll ever dream of. Like that man is streaming constantly. Like he has so many average. he's friends with Cristiano Ronaldo. like you know, like
I don't know
anyway,
that young man. I guess
he
they're,
comes in,
with Logan, they're trying to get into, the streamer thing, which is fine. I get that.
which is something
Don't act like Trick Williams wasn't there.
yeah, well, something that Vince would probably never tried unless like his business was failing. Like he would have been like, let's get AC/DC in here, right? Everybody likes AC/DC, right? Speed comes in, helps eliminate Otis, and then he does the Cristiano Ronaldo suit dance. And then as he celebrated, you see Ron Breaker in the background. It's just like, I'm gonna get this black. I'm gonna get this black. And then he's just like running across the ropes and then just hit Speed with the greatest spear I've ever seen. Like, it's just because Speed is so small. He tackled him so fucking hard.
You saw him like do that thing before he, pressed him, be like, yeah, right. And he's probably, yeah, okay.
Like, and so, God, he hits him so fucking hard, and he gets eliminated, and like, he gets thrown out there, and Otis, since he just eliminated, he just flicks him over the desk, and like you can see, Speed actually got cut while he was doing that, but like, he was a consummate professional. He was just like, well, I'm too injured. Like, let me get wheeled out of here, and I'm like, good for Speed, good on him. But it's cool to see those guys get opportunities to do stuff. Kai Cenat was there, who is also one of the biggest streamers on earth, and they're like, it just
I've heard
really
the name
cool.
and I thought he was a rapper.
No,
I just always assume anytime it's a nigga that I don't know that he's a rapper. That's always my assumption.
Like, I mean, he's behind I forgot what it's like. He created some term that everybody overly uses and white people
called phantom tax. Well, the kids did. The kids love that. Adults don't really use that, but the kids constant.
What?
The children.
Fandom tax?
Phantom. Because I guess his friend who has that name, and this is where I don't know because I'm old. I don't care. Apparently his friend is named one of the people who's on a show, Phantom, but he was always asking for like his food. So they started calling it the Phantom tax. And so when your friends try to take your food, that's what they call it. I don't know.
Huh.
I've seen some of his streams, and I mean, I get that why that appeals to younger people, but I don't think I've ever been more bored in my life.
What does he stream? Does
nothing.
He play games?
It's just him playing games, him having famous people over at his house, and they were like, here's this room. Here's that room. Here's my crazy backyard. And I'm like, so you're just like, HD TV without the HD TV.
Like there was one stream that I actually watched with him, and he had SZA and Lizzo in there, and like they're just walking around the room, and like one of the rooms is a Spider-Man room for some reason.
Yeah, it's a Spider-Man.
It just has like Spider-Man sheets and all that.
I think he does like sleep streams in there, doesn't he? Where he just sleeps and lets people watch him sleep.
Yeah, like he streams his entire life.
A lot of people do that. They stream 24 hours a day where they're like, okay, this is the sleep stream. I'm going to go to sleep. I'm going to go to bed.
And like, it was one of those things where I was just like, if that was me and Lizzo and SZA were there, I'm risking it. Like, I'd be like, so
I'm throwing it all away.
So what do y'all want to do? Like, I got these Spider-Man sheets. So,
oh my God. On the Spider-Man sheets.
On the Spider-Man sheets.
Oh.
He's like, I don't care.
How old is he? He looks like he's 12.
They all do.
He's
20-something.
Let's see. How old is he?
I will do this.
He was born after 9/11, December 16, 2001.
Let's see. Yeah, he's 23 years old. That is a baby.
Yeah.
Yes. That's a fetus. Okay.
That's a baby.
But like I said, if that was me, I'd be like, so Lizzo, what do you want? You want to do this? Like, I don't care which one, but like either one is getting it on that Spider-Man show.
I'm gonna shoot my shot.
I mean,
it will not have another opportunity.
Because he's the fifth most followed Twitch streamer and the most subscribed Twitch streamer. As of 2024, he has 13 million followers.
I mean, his is impressive because he doesn't have to take off his clothes and he's not a Nazi. So, like, that's actually really impressive.
He does, I guess, like his thing now is mostly what they say, pop culture and game streaming. That is his thing. Because hasn't he had oh my god, Kevin Hart on his show too?
Oh yeah, that was actually funny because he tried to hit on that singer Tyla, and she put him in the friend zone, and then Kevin Hart made fun of him for doing that. It's like, but we friends though. Like I see some of his stuff, and like he's great, but man, like, and it's just cool that WWE is cool enough for that to happen. And
one thing they've always been good at is paying attention to what young white kids are doing.
You guys want to know something? You want to hear a stat that's truly like incredible to me? Like I know it's a thing and it makes sense, but I'm just like, are you kidding me? So, according to Wikipedia, in March, Sanat was reported to be making approximately $23,280 per month from sleep streams, resulting in an annual income of $285,000
from people watching him sleep. Or at least, see, this is why you have to be careful with, because I know those numbers aren't inflated, but you have to be careful with what children do. Like a lot of these people have this many streams and this much success because a lot of kids have nothing to do and all the Wi-Fi.
Yep, they do.
It's just a bunch of 12-year-olds with nothing else going on.
Oh yeah,
not allowed to go outside, can't go to the mall.
Yeah, their lack of third spaces is what's paying these people to stream.
Oof, that's weird, but
is it?
I miss Bad Bunny. If I'm gonna get a celebrity entrant, I want them to be able to do a spot or two. For real.
Like,
I mean, fun, wasn't he? Wasn't Bad Bunny like good?
Bad Bunny is awesome.
Yeah, however, they loved him on there.
However, Bad Bunny could not sell that spear the way Sanat did. So
because he's not a big guy. I think he's actually really. I think he's kind of like not. He's not a big dude.
He's like
at all.
No.
And like
kind of
Bad Bunny, sure, but I'm like, you saw what Speed just did. Like, do that.
There's a GIF. I just saw a GIF of that spear, and it's actually comical because of the way they cut it off. He's in the ring, moving around, then boom, he's just gone. It's like you expected his shoes to go flying off somewhere off screen.
Right? Yes. All right. So Speed almost dies in the course of his entrance. Then we get Sheamus, Jimmy, Andrade, Jacob, which I was like, oh shit, now it's picking up. They really lined up their entrance in such a way that was like, oh man, because every time someone came, I was like, oh my god, I forgot. Jacob's in there, Ludwig's in there, being the kind of heel that kind of hangs back before he goes in. And then someone said his name and he appeared, TNA belt and everything. I expected this and I was happy. Thank you.
Yeah. He couldn't do the turn because they fucked it up, but like it's great to see him. Like the fact that 60,000 people were in there, and as soon as say his name and he will, they went crazy.
Yes.
Like that was cool. That was such a good moment. And it's funny because like a year ago, Jordan Grace predicted that. She literally said it on a tweet. It's just like next year at the Royal Rumble, when you hear say his name and he will appear, it is going to be the best pop of the night. And she tweeted that a year ago, and she said, "Please
save this."
Yeah.
Yes, I think I remember that. Yeah.
Riz, that's fantastic. Also Kai Cenat did it. Yeah.
I would have liked for him to be in there a little longer, but still fantastic.
Yeah,
good stuff.
But Jacob Fatu, which is who basically was just like, I'm black, was just comes in, wreck shop. He's he's just so charismatic, and
Mhm.
it's just weird just seeing this how infinite. Like we called it during when we were doing more of the shows. I was just like, yeah, it's a thing where you're like, oh, we probably shouldn't have done this with Solo because Solo doesn't have the charisma.
Mm-mm. Notice Solo wasn't even in that.
Yeah, well, he
Mhm.
got beat up and sent back to his home planet like Poochie.
They really tried to sell Solo as a problem, an enforcer, like serious. And it's so interesting that they tried to do that and had him not talk. And then now that he's talking again, I enjoy him more. They probably should have done the opposite. But Jacob is what they tried to do with Solo.
Yeah, they should have just
Mhm.
they should have done it with Jacob, but Solo was just there for such a long
Yeah.
time
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
they were like, well, you might as well just do it with him.
Yeah. And after Joe,
Yeah.
who comes in?
Sorry, it was Roman.
Yep.
Roman comes in.
Like-
Roman comes in, and it's just Roman Reigns, so he eliminates a bunch of people.
Immediately, yes.
Like, and when I saw him, I'm like, oh, that's cool. And then I'm like, wait, that's right. Like, he doesn't have a storyline.
Other than being Roman Reigns.
Yeah, like that.
Going
That's
for a title.
It's very Charlotte Flair, and like that's his
Mm-hmm.
storyline. Where I'm like, okay, like I don't like. He's obviously not going to win, but hopefully they set up for
I
Mania.
don't know that it was obvious. Like, and that was the thing. Like, I don't think him trying to go back after the title is good overall, like for business and like for story. But I could see them doing it anyway, because tribal chief and best in the business, all that kind of stuff. I could have, if he'd have won, I wouldn't have been surprised at all. I would have seen that, but I could, yeah, I could see that coming. Okay, I wouldn't even have been super mad because you're going to get a good match out of him no matter what.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What's the other thing? I'm sorry, I'm just trying to think about this. Let's see. Drew McIntyre shows up. Just is there to get some cardio. Doesn't really do anything. Finn Balor.
With dry, blown out hair too. I hate that. Don't come in there with a blowout.
Oh, God, like it's like they didn't want to put any Vaseline in their hair because they probably thought it was cold. They still have PTSD from WrestleMania last year.
Right.
Let's see. Finn Balor comes in with a terrible theme song. Shinsuke Nakamura comes in, looks like a dork, even though he has a championship.
Right.
Then Jey Uso comes in right after Shinsuke, and this is something weird because, like, I noticed this early. I was just like, they didn't have Jey come from the crowd, and I'm like,
yeah,
I was just like, yeah, like that was where my thought was, but like the fact that I even thought about that should have made me think like, oh yeah, okay, now that makes sense. So he could do it at the end, but like he shows up. And like obviously that's when the world when
it picked up, it was like now we're getting to business.
Yeah, like that was like the well, it was Roman, but like
yes, true.
Yeah, but like once Jay showed up, you're like, oh, okay, this is
right.
good.
Right. 20, you got 10 left. Like
yeah,
like
you have AJ Styles who did the opposite of Finn Balor and was just like, you know what? My old theme song is better. I'm going to use this.
Yes. That was my legitimate scream of the night. I love AJ Styles. I did the thing that I always do in the run up to Rumbles is look through the roster, see who's out, see who's might make a comeback. He was my surprise of the night guy. Like I was like, maybe if Alexa comes back, that'd be great. I don't know. I know he's got this injury. I don't know how he's doing. It would be great to see him. And I was like, ooh, genuine surprise. I screamed for sure. Yes. I used to hate that theme song because I hate a black theme song on a white man.
We saw the boys with fine strength.
Yes. I loved it.
We don't want none. Nope.
Nope.
Let's see. Braun Strowman shows up for a cup of coffee, eliminates two people for no reason.
I
in 2
figured they
minutes.
would bring it because I knew if they were going to bring in Jacob, it would have to be one of those situations where like 5 people eliminate him, or they use Braun to eliminate him to develop that they had going on. So once I saw him, I was like, oh, he's going to be the one to get rid of Jacob.
Yeah, he was only in there for 2 minutes, and then he was then the next person, Juan Cena,
Juan Cena
comes up, and he's there for 30 minutes.
Yes.
Like
his entry was where it just started to go up in terms of the entrance.
Because like he's sad because it's just like, damn, this is my last Royal Rumble. Like I love wrestling, but I love Hollywood lifestyle so much more, and I get paid so much more to do it. So you fucking nerds can go suck it. He comes in, was just like is overwhelmed, and then he had a standoff with Roman Reigns. Then you hear,
I think it was Roman and Jay standing there when Cena came in. Yeah. And it's like at that moment they didn't need to do much other than just be there, and people were losing their minds.
Yeah, and like Cena and Roman Reigns lock eyes lovingly, and then you hear Cult of Personality play. So CM Punk comes out there,
right? And
they all look at each other very lovingly, and then you hear "Burn It Down," and then Seth Rollins is there. And then that's when like it gets crazy.
Yes.
And then obviously the person I wanted to win the most, the best wrestler in the world, Dominic Mysterio, shows up. He's only in there for like 4 minutes, but Sami Zayn shows up right after that, and that's when everything gets kind of crazy.
Yes. I'll say it for Seth. Seth, from the moment he walked in, was in constant motion. The man was a blur.
Yeah.
Like whirling dervish, Tasmanian devil. Like, ooh, shit.
They gave the Kofi spot to Logan Paul, where he's about to get eliminated but doesn't.
Yes.
And then he, in turn, eliminates AJ Styles because AJ could clearly see Logan Paul, but he still tried to do his move, and he gets pulled off the apron.
Right, yes.
And then CM Punk eliminates Seth and Roman, but he gets eliminated by Logan Paul, which is fucking crazy. Just a statement to say. And so they go outside and they start disagreeing with each other and shit. Seth Rollins pulls out the craziest curb stomp I've ever seen. He got both feet on the back of his head and just like stomped. And then they basically had
a print on his scalp, man.
They have a pull apart brawl, and then he comes back, stomps him in the head again. CM Punk does the Iverson. CM Punk does the Iverson walk over Roman Reigns for some reason, and he's just yelling at Paul. And I'm like, there's a lot going on right now that is not in the ring.
Right? Because at that point, they wanted us to focus on that. 3 who were left over at that point. So Jay, Cena, and Paul, are lying in the ring, kind of doing that whole recovering thing so they could focus on these guys. I mean, that's a triple threat right there. It's
but
right there.
Usually with triple threats, you have to have something, like it has to be a prize or like a number 1 contender spot. It just can't be for fun.
Well, then what are all these guys gonna do at WrestleMania?
Well, catering's supposed to be really good that day. But
none of the people that I thought might get it got it. So, but we still got to do something with them, and we'll still probably see them at Chamber. So
yeah.
Let's
see. LaKnight shows up.
LaKnight.
LaKnight shows up sometime during all that Michigas.
Yeah.
And Damian Priest as well. Number 30 was Logan Paul, and whatever. But like,
I was
He's
scared
the-
for a minute because we know how many people have won from that spot, and we know what we might have gotten if Vince was still there. So I was like, ooh.
Yeah, but even Vince would have known, like, that probably wasn't the best idea. So I knew it was going to be, I thought it was just going to be John Cena. And then
Yes.
John Cena and Jimmy Uso are just going back and forth. And I'm like, all right. All
Hey,
right, John.
everyone forgot that Jimmy was in there. Jimmy was in there too, also.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
But down
like,
to Yeet. Call him Yeet.
Yeah. The Yeet and Chief.
Yeet and Chief.
They go back and forth. And honestly, it was a pretty good matchup. Like, I thought it was.
Yeah.
I thought it was kind of cool.
Yeah, it was.
And then they get to the outside, and I hate how they do this now, where they just don't eliminate people. Like, it's more of a woman spot where they have to fight like that because they have to fight on the apron because they don't have they can't just like toss each other over the top.
Yeah.
So
didn't I say earlier we were watching it that like I know they got to build the suspense, but I would not fuck around with an apron if it were me.
No, like I'm immediately getting it. So
getting on that rope.
Yeah. So when I was just waiting for John to do the AA on him, and like, okay, that's how he's gonna win. Like the entire time, I'm like the AA, and then once he worms out of the AA, I'm like, that wasn't supposed to happen. And then he pushes him off, and he lands. I'm like, oh my god! Like,
squarely on both feet, like.
Yeah, and John, like, I've never seen John Cena so excited to lose because he comes back in the ring. He's just like, Jay, you're the best, but you're like, man, you're so great. Let me go back to my movie star life for the next couple of weeks, and see you dorks later. I'm gonna go do some reshoots for Peacemaker, so you guys can work with your little money. I'm dealing with millions of dollars.
I'm doing a car commercial tomorrow, you guys.
Exactly. It's like, hey, they need a voiceover. Guess who they call? They don't call Jey Uso. They call John Cena. And Jey Uso's out there yeeting all over the crowd, getting his yeet everywhere.
I don't know that there was anybody who had him. Maybe some people's dark horse, but there are so many big names that are still foaming at the mouth for a title that I did not see this one coming.
Like, I don't know what the main event's going to be of WrestleMania, because this is clearly going to be a night one main event.
Yes.
So like this is like, I don't know what the final main event for Mania is going to be.
It's true.
It'd be cool if it was a 4-way, but.
And the other thing, Jay mentioned afterward, talked about world heavyweight title, so he's gonna go after Gunther again, even though he just had that shot. So it's kind of similar to Io getting another shot because she just had a shot at a title. Same thing as kind of Bailey getting another shot because she just had a shot at a title, and they're going with it with Jay, which is a good move because he's super over and deserves it and actually main event. But the interesting thing they keep saying is you're going to the main event of WrestleMania, and they tell that you have 4 matches, you got 4 titles, only 2 of them can actually main event. So it's entirely possible that, and the same thing I think happened last year. Last year something else ended up being the main event of night one. So something else could end up being more important match-wise than title.
Yeah, not it. Like, the Royal Rumble is going on at night one. It's not a night 2 event. Like, that is not when you say that Jey Uso won the main event, and you're like, great, that's a great way to end night 1. Like, I'm not seeing him with like the Fallujah fireworks presentation that they have at the end of night 2. Like, I just
for sure,
yeah, like all those people that got eliminated before him, I'm like, those are the main events. Like, I know you call yourself main event Jey Uso, however, that's night 1. Like, I got night 1 written all over it, buddy.
Yes, it does. And oof, my goodness. So we got that. big surprise. I'm still pretty shocked. Because you said it. I can't believe they actually pulled the trigger on it, which is kind of weird because it's something they've been working towards for a while. They keep putting him in situations where he probably should have won, and we couldn't tell what would happen. You know what I thought of? It might have been to also make up for Money in the Bank, which they completely shit the bed on.
Yeah, that makes sense because obviously Jay was supposed to win that, but they were like, "Oh, this thing is too hot. Let's keep the Drew McIntyre thing going," and that was a waste because it was the CM Punk situation. Like CM Punk is weirdly had a career year, and half of the year he had a sling on his arm.
Yes,
like that is fascinating. Like he gets hurt a year ago in the Royal Rumble that really just fucks up all of those plans.
Yeah.
And him on the mic showing up once in a while was compelling.
Right.
For that entire summer.
It was. It worked. And we're seeing this report of Drew storming out of the Royal Rumble because he's mad. This is one of the things that's really fun about reporting and social media and stuff. I can't tell what to work or shoot with that guy. And that works for me.
Yeah, he's one of the guys who actually blurs that line.
Yeah, really well. Really well. I could believe that he's kayfabe mad, of course, and I could believe that he's shoot mad. It works either way. It's great. And I think the moment, and they finally learned how to use a fucking camera angle so good. That moment where Roman's in the corner and Seth finally stops for 5 seconds to take a motherfucking breath, and they have that camera there. I was like, at that moment, I was like, oh shit, neither of them are going to win because they're still too wrapped up in each other to really focus on what's going on here. That was the moment I was like, that could be a match coming up. And in this moment, they might have lost it for each other.
Yeah, that sexual tension was palpable.
It was. And it's kind of a long shot too. I'm not even mad at it. It worked on so many levels.
It's like people that
can we call this? Can I call this finally and forever? That Braun Breaker has the better spear. Can we all stop complaining? Let's stop pretending. Okay. All right. Because all the Samoans want to use it. Braun has the better spear. Stop.
Well, Roman's looks nicer because he has the hair.
Yes, very true. Very true. Yeah.
And then Braun Breakers is actually like, I'm gonna kill you.
I think it's the speed he puts on it.
Like Roman's is more cinematic. Braun Breaker is just like
100%.
This is gonna hurt
die
really bad.
Yes, you will die. You might lose a kidney.
Like, I don't care if you have the most streams ever. I'm gonna fucking kill you.
So now we know that Jey Uso will go on to main event something. So who do we see? Who do we see at Elimination Chamber? The bathroom, the toilet match. And then who goes on to face Cody?
You're like whoever wins an Elimination Chamber, yeah.
Yeah, because then after that, at the post presser, John Cena essentially comes out and does a monologue. He says, I did this whole thing that I'm going to practice. I'm an actor now. I'm a thespian. And I'm going to the Elimination Chamber, and I deserve a spot at Shadow the title. Thank you. So I'm like, okay, one down. I don't think he shouldn't win.
Yeah, like it's compelling if a guy just loses all the time on his way out. Like
you're supposed to, because you know what? And that's another thing that I think Vince would have done if we'd seen it. Like if Vince were in charge, he would probably win and then drop it 2 weeks later and go. Fine. But this is the last part. He's not going to hang around. So if he were to pick up the title, he'd have to drop it again, which is sort of, it's awkward. I think it's awkward.
Yeah. Like, it is awkward, but like he's just been kind of semi-retired all so long now.
Yes,
Like,
exactly.
to the point where I'm just like, oh, so we're serious about this. That's how I feel about it. I'm like,
Yes.
I was like, oh, okay. I thought we all just kind of came to the same
Yeah.
realization that this was not a thing.
Yeah. For a few years, all he's been doing is losing and putting people over. Austin Theory, Solo. It's just what he's been doing. It's what he should do at this point.
Yeah. Like, I mean, both of those worked like a lead balloon, but
Yes.
like
Like a wet fart.
it's the wettest of farts. And John is fine no matter what. It's just how he wants to go out. Like, one thing in talk about the Rumble, one thing I did like, but I really wish they would have took it down a half inch, was the Sports Center ticker of the Royal Rumble. Like,
it.
I did like it, and it's great. It was too fucking big.
Oh, that's true. It did take up a lot of the screen. That's true.
It took too much of the screen.
Yeah.
I'm like, I got it, guys. Like, I
And
get
I kept
it.
seeing season 2 over the right. I was like, season 2 of what? They just kept talking about Fortnite. I didn't need that. It's true.
Well, I mean, that entire company is just synergy, or it is so corporate now. It's even more corporate than with Vince McMahon's vision. Like Vince Jr. would be like, man, I know I made some horrendous mistakes in my life, but the fact that they got all of these sponsors is one of the things that makes me the happiest.
Yep.
The fucking official song was Charlie XCX.
Really?
Yes, that was the song that they
wow.
were playing. It was the Von Dutch song by Charlie XCX. And then as they're talking about it, that's when Michael Cole is just like, I'm Brat. And I'm like, okay. I was like, okay. Like, let's just we need to calm that shit down. We're getting in this territory where it's working. Like, I know we had Travis Scott here a couple weeks ago and then Quavo last week, but we need to calm this the fuck down. Like, I'm Brat. Like, yeah,
It's Brat. Summer. It is no longer summer.
Yeah, but just him saying Brat, I'm just like, Jesus Christ. And it was like, if he said, hey, yeet is Brat, I would not be shocked.
The fact that yeet is like back in a big way, because if you see that article, I think it's called Yeet Mania. I'm like, oh my God.
Yep.
Honestly, I'm gonna name this episode Yeet is Brat.
There you go.
There you go.
Let's make shirts.
Oh my God.
Make merch.
The WWE knows how to court the youth, and the Democratic Party should take note.
Just be more racist. Like that's all. If that's,
they've always
if
been
that's
good at knowing what young people want. It's true.
If that's the case, just be more racist, and then you probably would have won an election. But you know, it is what it is.
Come on, lean in. Who else do we see at Chamber? So John Cena.
I hate DEIs.
I hate DEIs. Dog whistle. Who else do we see at Chamber? All right, so because I'm trying to think of this now. Women's Elimination Chamber, probably be Io, Liv, maybe Raquel. Who else we got? Bailey.
It might be
Bianca.
Yeah. Yeah, Jade.
Ooh, Jade.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm so interested to see in what they will do in the next 2 months to build up to that, because they have to wrap that up. They got to bring it to WrestleMania. It's there. Don't let it wait too long. It can't be more than 2 more weeks before we start to move in that direction. Like, we're on the road to WrestleMania. Let's start developing that. And men's is going to be Cena, Roman, Seth, Drew, CM Punk. You know, maybe a 6th.
I mean,
I don't know that I want to see Cena, Cody. That doesn't excite me.
Yeah, but they'll use it as a passing of the guard. If
Yeah,
they do
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Punk and Roadie codes could work.
That could work
Um,
much better. I would love
yeah, they have good chemistry together
They do. Some
on
people didn't like
mic.
that promo the other night, but I liked it. I was like,
Yeah,
oh,
it's the beginning of Cody becoming unhinged,
mm-hmm.
which rightfully so. He was too nice. Like that is like that bleach went to his brain and now he's mean.
Yes.
Like fine.
Yes.
That's great.
The mask is slipping. The mask is slipping.
Yeah.
And he is at that point, and the one that CM Punk talked about and other people talk about seeing on Bianca when she was at the end of her like long Raw reign, that it's starting to wear on him. He's starting to look tired.
Yeah.
You know, heavy is the head that wears the crown. You know, it's a lot.
And honestly, that would be kind of a death blow to AEW if they did that. Because
if they do what?
If they do Punk Cody, that's a fucking death blow. It's like you had both of these guys no more than 3 years ago on your roster at the same time.
Yeah.
And you didn't do anything with them.
Well, I don't know about anything. They gave Punk the title.
They gave the Punk the title twice, but they never gave the Punk like. It's hard recovering from the fact that you allowed the biggest babyface in wrestling to just walk out one day.
Yeah.
And then you fired CM Punk, but like it's hard to recover from that. And honestly, they never. I said it once in one of these shows. The biggest thing everyone thought was, what is WWE going to do without Vince McMahon? No one ever thought, what is AEW going to do without Vince McMahon?
I don't know that. Well, they AEW has been so spotty recently, and that's the thing that I find so interesting. They have really fantastic story in Tony Storm. Tony Storm is another one they fumbled. Swerve is another one they fumbled. Like they fumbled a lot of people, and there's a lot of people doing, I mean, some of the best work in wrestling you've seen in years. And there's some complete dead spots too. It's just such a strange mixture over there.
Yeah, the fact that Tony Storm reveal happened, and there's like 2 weeks away from the pay-per-view. I'm like, you kind of wasted that. You could have. That was just weird.
Yeah. The timing was strange.
Yeah,
the reveal and the whole thing was great, and I especially love Mariah May's face. Like it was very good. The whole thing itself was fantastic. The timing's weird, and it's so weirdly spotty over there. But I'll always say it's great to have like another option. It's just so good for everyone across the board that you can go over there and do something different. And it's great that everybody knows each other. Tribalism only exists on the internet because Charlotte was over here fucking throwing her chops onto Austin and tagging in Mariah. Like it's good overall for everybody.
Yeah,
it's a good thing.
Martha Stewart. This is the way you said it's like it's a good thing.
It's a good thing overall for everyone. All right. Is there anything else you want to bring and touch on before we finish up?
No, we pretty much touched on everything. It's just
right.
everything is Brat. So
everything is Brat. Everything is Brat. Everything is cool when you're part of a team. Everything is Brat. All right, follow us on all of the social medias insofar as it not being taken over by fascists. At YouTube, we are at Home Wrestling League. Twitter, if you're still on there, we'll probably still post at the _ HWL. On Instagram, we are at home _ wrestling _ league. I am also on the threads over there. So if you can, if you want to see me say dumb things, you can see it over there. And on Blue Sky, we are at the hwl.bsky.social. And if you're listening on Spotify, check out the poll and the Q&A. I've seen some comments on there from our listeners, and I would love to see more. I forgot old girl's name, but she said that they've got to stop with the nostalgia, and it's true. They do lean on it a little too heavy over at the E. Just because you have, you know, decades of history to go into doesn't mean we want to see it all the motherfucking time. But anyway,
let's get Triple H and The Rock out here.
You know what? I was scared for a moment they would bring The Rock out for the Rumble, and they didn't. So I'm happy about that. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said a couple weeks ago, I'm like, Moana 2 made too much money. He doesn't have to do this.
Right? Like,
anymore.
well, like one of my movies did well. Oh, thank God. All right. See y'all later.
Exactly. Like, what you want me to like wrestle in front of people for that amount of money? Ugh.
Ugh. Go back to my old job. Ugh. Ugh.
Ugh.
Everything is brat, you guys.